6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
I didn't know you were planning a comeback.
I hate that word. It's a return. A return to the millions of people who've never forgiven me for deserting the screen.
Every few years, we get a vote, but the laws that shape our lives are written every single day. Too often, elected officials listen to lobbyists, party bosses, and donors instead of the people who put them in office. But what if your representative asked you how to vote? Before casting a vote in Congress or the legislature, they ask their constituents, and they follow the majority. Real representation, real accountability, real democracy, not once every few years, but every time a law is written. If you believe elected officials should represent the will of the people, ask them to take the Direct Democracy Pledge. Find out more at directdemocracy21.org. Because democracy doesn't end on Election Day. Direct Democracy 21. Democracy for the 21st century.
And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is?
Wow.
No, but look at it. So.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the return of Chicago Corner. We're back after a pretty long absence. The team got together and realized with World War III beginning and midterms approaching and primaries approaching, it might be a good idea to return back to the air. What's ironic too, though, is that we were planning a comeback last week. Kira and I were talking about this upcoming interview with the Candidate Series right before the launch on Iran over the weekend. So lots to talk about tonight. Well, we'll only have maybe about an hour program, but there's a couple of things we want to talk about along with announcing our interviews with the Candidate Series, because it is a very, very loaded primary season, especially here in Illinois. Oreo's back. Say hello before I put you on the floor. And we decided, well, Kira approached me, you know what, I'm just going to bring everybody back on, because who wants to hear me talking by myself? Kira.
Hello.
Ed.
I was picking at my
Yo.
Welcome back. And Jose, returning to Chicago Corner.
Woo.
Hey, pal. So I was kind of setting this up, Kira. Well, before we continue, I also want to thank Dominick Palella, who has always been a friend and supporter of the program. You probably saw in the beginning of the show, the intro there, a video for his website, Direct Democracy 21. Dominick has an amazing idea proposal that we're going to be pitching to candidates, as well as some of our allies within the Chicagoland and Illinois activist community, to try to get candidates to recognize the value of constituent polling prior to their casting their votes in the legislature, not just getting their ideas before they're elected, but being accountable afterwards. And I think that video hopefully kind of laid out what Dominick's proposal was about. You can visit his website, Direct Democracy 21, Democracy for the 21st Century. This kind of leads into Kira contacting me last week and proposing we come back to the air to interview a candidate, to which I committed her to let's interview a lot of candidates. Kira, you want to share what you came forward with?
Well, I'm always working on an election or two. Anytime we're having a primary, because once the generals roll around, I'm pretty much out. But so I'm always on an election or two, and I was gonna have a house party for one of the candidates, and then just because I know the team that's working on that campaign and everything, they asked like, "Hey, would you do a Q&A?" And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then that kind of sparked it for me where I was like, let me talk to Jerry. I think maybe popping this on a Chicago Corner would be a good idea. And then we talked about like, because it was going to be a private sort of Zoom. And so we talked about like, we want people to have their privacy, be able to ask questions freely, not be being streamed, right? When they weren't expecting it. But like, that's when Jerry was like, well, why don't we do a series? Let's reach out. And I thought it a great idea because they're in a position, the candidates being in a position where they kind of need all the exposure they can get right now. So we got to strike while the iron's hot, get them in here. So that was sort of the plan behind all of this. And shockingly, Jerry, you put out your feelers. There's like, year of the fire horse, right? Like everybody just started responding. How many conversations do we have now?
Well, I sent out a broad sweep to all of the candidates in the 7th, 9th, and Senate. I did not reach out to uncontested races, but as we know here in Illinois, the 7th and 9th congressional districts are loaded with candidates. And we've got, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 or 8 candidates lined up to roll out into this interview with the candidate series into next week. And time permitting, I didn't expect we were going to get that kind of a response, but I'm grateful for it. Right now, it's a matter of how can we all coordinate our time so that we can accommodate other candidates that have not yet committed, but we're waiting to hear back on. Actually, we got 7 or 8 committed. And then I started getting some other people saying, hey, can we be scheduled? And I'm like, we're pretty loaded up because we've got tomorrow morning, starting at 9 o'clock, we've got Anthony Driver Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the evening, we've got Kina Collins. Monday afternoon, we've got Bushra Amawala. And then in the evening, oh my God, I'm going to, does anybody recall how to properly pronounce the candidate's name? I'm embarrassed now because he actually has it on his website, the proper pronunciation.
The phonetic pronunciation of his name.
Yeah.
It's like, just so you know.
Oh my God. This is
how you pronounce
now.
it. Don't be embarrassed now. Just be embarrassed when you're interviewing him.
Well, no, you know what? I didn't realize in the beginning of the show here, I was going to, let's just bring up his thumbnail and everybody can see. And I promise I will make sure, I'm not going to mangle his name right now. I would prefer to pronounce it properly when we actually interview him.
Oh, Kathy, what's up,
hey,
Kathy?
I've got it.
In the chat.
There he is. So here's Hawaiian. Where is he? Here he is.
Oh yeah. Hoan Hun. Hoan Hun is how I would say that.
I don't even think that we're pronouncing it correctly, and perhaps we shouldn't.
What's that?
The phonetic. Hoan Hing. Hoan Hen.
Yeah, Hoan Hun is how I would say that.
Actually, points a gun at this guy.
No, it's not Han. Pardon me?
Han Win is what Kathy Powers is saying.
Yeah, you can pronounce it like Win.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, Han Win. That is correct. And I actually recall when I was looking at the phonetic pronunciation on his website, he pointed a gun at you. What?
ICE pointed a gun at him when he was doing a neighborhood watch, actually.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that was terrifying. So I remember him from that. in his run.
Yeah, that's so scary. Oh my God.
Well, hopefully that won't be happening again. Anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can talk to
But
him.
we're going to be talking about some of those things tonight. There was some breaking news today, and I'm going to share to the stage here what preceded that breaking news. Is it playing?
I don't see anything playing.
I got computer lag.
Is your shit lagging?
Peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
as an
time,
advisor,
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it is
decisions
also
and
a
putting
real
every
question.
position. So what I
Or
would
by
say
the
to
question.
be able
It
to
is
say
okay
that what
for
we
you
do
to
is
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be every
But it is
decision
also
without
any
every
question.
single day.
So
what I would
and
say to
someone
you
is
to
asked to
make
answer
what we
this
do at the
question or
Department
any
of Federal
federal
Security.
Okay, admittedly, there was a little bit of an
Okay.
So admittedly, there was a little bit of an edit to that, but yeah, Christie's out. Christie's out along with Bovino and Dan Crenshaw. And I little note on Kristi Noem's departure today.
What's that? Say that again.
A little postscript on Kristi Noem's departure today.
A little postscript on her departure today.
Which at last is dead.
I think we've got some lags.
It's the ghost of StreamYard past tonight, Jerry.
It really is.
And you know why? It's
we
because
haven't had video lag like this in years.
Yeah, well, it's because I'm playing them from my desktop. That's probably why. But let me remove those two videos from the studio, and we will make sure, or I will make sure, even though I tested this stuff ahead of time, that we don't have those kind of lags in the future. But yeah, so Kristi Noem's out, Greg Bovino's out, the two key principal villains in the ICE Homeland Terrorism Brigade. And we just discovered today that one of the first not primary candidates, but one of the first incumbent candidates, MAGA stars, Dan Crenshaw, got tossed out. He lost his election today. Did you guys hear about that? Pirate Eye Patch Dan?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the eye patch, so I'll miss that. But I am. He looks like such an evil villain. I just like it when my villains look like villains. It just simplifies things for me, you know? So he was doing a good job at that.
Well, you know, between him and Bovino with his Goebbels, no, it wasn't with his, who was the I just saw that movie too, Nuremberg. What was the guy, the Nazi officer in Nuremberg? Goring. Yeah, Bovino with his Goring trench coat, Crenshaw with his eye patch,
Yes.
with her I don't know, man. She's had so much work done since she joined the Trump administration. I think that they were like going into overtime with the Army Corps of Engineers on all the work that she had done on her, to make her to give her that MAGA face.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the
so I think
cosplay on her is very committed. Very committed cosplay.
Very.
On
Very.
on behalf of Kristi Noem. I mean, there's a little part of me that's just like, oh, the entertainment factor is somewhat fun, right? And then you're like, oh wait, this is real life. That's right, this is real life. And then it takes the fun away, but it's good to see people get their comeuppance. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, especially with her. And actually sooner in coming than I expected. You know, as we've just entered World War III this weekend, I'm calling it that. That's what it is. We're not, this is not, we can't wait till it's potentially over with or the future comes for us to label what Trump and MAGA just launched this weekend. Ed.
I mean, it's kind of been going already, right? Like, I don't know a whole bunch about like, and I was going to say someone else can pop in because I know there are a lot of regions and nations involved right now. So calling it a world war isn't really that far removed
I've
from
basically
reality.
been calling it World War III for the past 2 years. It's just been a very slow crawl until it was in full effect, and really just having Orange Dimwit decide to go into Iran on Adolf Hitler's request basically just seals it. We're in World War III right now. And, you know, we got a bunch of other nations that are kind of sitting on the sidelines, eating their popcorn, watching what's going on. But for the most part, it's proxy wars that are probably going to turn into something larger. So you'll see the sides. But you'll see the sides start to form where, you know, all of a sudden, you know, one warring party was going to start getting support from one of the other big countries like China or Russia, and then we'll know.
Jose, don't talk so much.
Unmute yourself, Jose.
All right.
You keep unmuting and then going back on mute.
You just put yourself on mute. Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay.
Thank you. So there's like a little bit of a lag, so I also worry about an echo. So I've been on mute. But yeah, I mean, like, I know that we were gonna touch on like the army being told we're in some kind of holy war, end of days, Armageddon. Like,
yeah,
you know, that's propaganda back from like when George W. Bush launched the war on terror. It was like a big crusade. It was like, you know, it was a big Christian crusade. We were calling it in my high school days, you know. And there was a foundation laid out for that. So, you know, I think that this is a world war. It's a war conflagration. I think the U.S. wants China to get more involved than it is. I think China like sent parts and things to Iran recently. I don't know if they're going to do anything more than stuff like that. And they don't have to.
There's been a lot of chatter too, Jose, about the fact that Russia and China have probably been supplying Iran with all of the surveillance, spy satellite surveillance to knock out all of the United States targets that they've taken out, that they're not really sharing all the damage.
Right.
Kira, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, well, yeah, they're not sharing a lot of that information too. So I was just agreeing with what you were saying on that.
I heard on a podcast today the speculation. I don't know if it was Kim Iverson or someone else, but they were saying that whatever aid that China and Russia have been giving Iran is so that the United States completely depletes as much of its arsenal of really heavy powered weapons, because that's going to put China and Russia in a much better position depending on how things go in the Middle East in the Epstein war. And you know, I also want to give Kathy some credit here. Yes, this is the Epstein war, okay? Or it's the Benjamin Netanyahu war. We have become completely
made possible by Epstein.
That's right. That's right. And the white Christian nationalists who are in alliance with the Zion Nazis, thinking that this is going to give them carte blanche to just roll over the entire Middle East. And then you've got the white Christian nationalists who are friendly with the Zion Nazis, you know, acting like they're their friends when their real end game is Jesus coming out of the sky, causing the rapture, at which point all the Israelis will be sent to hell. It's like both sides, the white Christian nationalists and the Zion Nazis, they're literally like pretending like they're friends when their end game is to fuck each other.
Yeah.
At the expense of the rest of us. Go rapture yourselves, you know? So to Jose's point about the fact that there have been a lot of soldiers coming forward and saying they're really freaked out by their military leaders, claiming that this is the Armageddon War. We've been infiltrated. So did you see this video from today? Let me add this to the stage. Hopefully there's not too much of a lag.
That's not healthy.
Lifting up the arms of our president. We pray for your continued blessing and favor
upon him. That's not healthy.
Wisdom from heaven
That's not good for you. That's not good for you. It's weird.
Oh, Trump, what are you doing, dude? Oh my God.
I pray for your grace and your protection over him. I pray for your grace and protection over our troops and all of our men and women serving in our armed forces. And Father, we just pray you'll continue to give our president the strength that he needs to lead our great nation as we come back to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray your heavenly blessing upon him.
I want to say this is weird, but it's just like just Washington, D.C., like every other hour, I bet.
It is really weird, though, right?
These are all religious frauds. Every one of them in that room.
It's all bullshit.
They're absolute
Vampires.
frauds. If they really believed in a higher power who wanted good for the world, or Jesus or whatever, you think Jesus would be cool with what's going on right now? Hell no.
Fucking phonies,
and then also,
man.
if you ask any of the Israelis about Jesus, they got nothing but bad things to say about him. So why would you put yourself in a position to be such a hypocrite, an obvious hypocrite, on on national television all around the world, showing what an absolute fraud that you are?
Because they don't care. Somehow they just don't have that shame mechanism, you know, that so many of us have, and that help direct us and help us to make decisions where we're not just openly hurting people and then turning around and saying like, hey, what are you doing? Don't stop hitting me, man. You know, like, what the hell? It is a fraud. It's complete malarkey. Those people standing there praying have any allegiance to any like actual higher power other than money.
I want to welcome back Kathy and Arturo Medina. So Art, welcome. Now, Art says, I swear we're living in a world stage with a mixture of John Waters comedy. I'm going to take that one step further, Art. I was looking at what's happening in the world right now, and I came up with an idea for a segment called We've Seen This Movie Before. And in relation to, you know, Trump being anointed in the Oval Office there and all of these generals stepping forward, telling the troops that they're going to sacrifice their lives on behalf of the rapture and Armageddon and everything else.
And there was, what was that?
In the middle of the night, it came to me. I must get up now, right now, and fulfill my destiny. Now you put your goddamn hand on that scanning screen, or I'll hack it off and put it on for you. Do it!
Have you guys seen this movie before?
No.
I haven't, no.
Okay, I'll tell you about it in a moment.
Looks cool.
I did watch this scene when you sent it over, and I watched it in its entirety. So
let them come up.
This is not necessary, Mr. President. We have a diplomatic solution.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Secretary, the missiles are flying. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh,
right,
that's what I wanted to talk about.
So that clip is from a movie called The Dead Zone, and it starred Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken was a school teacher who was involved in a car accident, and when he came out of his coma many years later, he had the power of second sight, and anytime he shook hands or touched somebody, he could see the future. Now, Martin Sheen plays this president named Greg Stilson, or this candidate named Greg Stilson. And at a moment in the movie where Christopher Walken shakes hands with Greg Stilson, the presidential candidate, he has a flash and he sees this future. And the dilemma that Christopher Walken, what's his name? Johnny, his first name's Johnny in the movie. So the dilemma that faces Johnny then is he has seen the future. If this candidate, Greg Stilson, wins, because he's a very extreme right, white Christian nationalist type of candidate, that's going to happen. Nuclear war is going to happen because the guy is fueled by his religious fervor. So this leads Johnny to like the dilemma. I know what's going to happen. Do I have a responsibility to take him out? Highly recommended movie, The Dead Zone. It was adapted from a book by Stephen King.
Okay, I was going to say, I think that's wow, that's cool.
It's a great movie. And as I saw Trump today being anointed by all the, you know, the religious maniacs in the Oval Office, I was thinking, yeah, this is what we're going towards with all the generals talking about how this is, this has become like a holy war for some of the top military personnel in Trump's administration. The guy who was the head of the Secretary of War, Hegseth. Do you know he's got tattoos all over his body? It's like he's a modern day Christian crusader who really believes that this is like a holy war against Islam in the Middle East.
Why wouldn't
That's
he? He was
gross.
probably in a frat, while Bush
Yeah.
was indoctrinating, my generation. So like, of course he is.
Yeah.
Like, I think George W. Bush had a bigger claim to be the Antichrist and the bringer of end of days than any of like the parodies, including Trump. And, I think that this is a continuation of like a colonial mindset of like, you need to be that insane because later on you're going to murder a lot of people and steal their shit and make money off of it and say that God told you to. Like there were people writing about the indigenous peoples of South America being Amalek and stuff. They're in like those exploration like crusade stuff. So I think that the Gaza genocide has made it so that figures like Tucker Carlson and like Christian nationalists, white Christian nationalists, need to hold on to this story of persecution from Europe and a purity of the religion that translated to kind of like a purity of culture. That's a little like top down and misogynistic. So I think that Trump, in feeding that cultural war, thinks that he's going to win the midterms. I want to take it to Marco Rubio because he's talking to two different sides. He's trying to appease Trump, saying that doing this will win you the midterms, even though all the Republicans are like, I don't know, man. Everybody seems to hate this.
They're splintering. They're splintering now.
Yep, and he's telling Netanyahu and like Mossad and all those folks and like the neocons who like are pretty impressed with Marco right now, who might prefer him over JD later. Like, yeah, I got you. Whatever you want. After this, we'll do Cuba, and it'll be a big distraction. We're just going to keep it going and kill bricks this way. To Netanyahu, this is destiny. To Trump, this is about the midterm. So I'm just going to close with Netanyahu was groveling how Trump is the strongest leader in the world, and of course you couldn't. I couldn't tell him what to do and string him like a puppet. Of course,
which was hilarious.
He's so tough. So there is no low, there is no bottom to where he will sink to get his way. So I'm just thinking the major figure in the region that benefits is MBS of Saudi Arabia, who, ultimately, whatever new religious figure comes into Iran, if it's someone that MBS can work with, never mind anyone else, Netanyahu's at least covering his behind that way. Anyway, that's my.
Thank you, Kathy. We've missed you all so much too. With the way that AIPAC paved the way for Trump to get into office, and the fact that Mossad also has all of the Jeffrey Epstein intelligence, Trump was the easiest candidate to like steamroll into office.
Totally.
Netanyahu has wanted this for decades. And now, not
you
only
can't
does
do
he
the
have
puppeteer
Trump,
thing because that's a Trump. So no.
Not only does he have Trump, they had Jared Kushner marry his daughter. Okay, they had Jared Kushner marry Ivanka Trump, right? Then,
and Kushner, he's part of the Chabad Lubavitch cult over in New York. So yeah, it's really bad.
Well, it's really bad too, Ed, when you realize all of the quote unquote tinfoil hat conspiracy theories that that people have claimed everybody has been engaged in for what, the past 50 years?
I know, isn't it crazy? They're all right.
It's all true. I'm not going to say it's Israelis and Mossad run all the media, have managed to infiltrate our government. And I have to make this very clear, because when I talk with people, I mean, Ed, Kira, Jose, this. It's not anti-Semitic to hold Israel and the Zion Nazi Party responsible. This has nothing to do with Jews. There are good Jews everywhere. The fact that this party in Israel has basically leaned on Judaism to get whatever they want. It reminds me of that old phrase, not all Germans are Nazis, but all Nazis are Germans. It's the same thing. Not all Zionists, not all Jews are Zionists, but all Zionists are Jews. So isn't
there a strong Christian contingent of Zionism?
There's also a lot of Christians and who are Zionists.
I don't know much about Zionism, but I'm saying there's a lot of Christianity involved.
There are. I'm saying from decades back, when the quote unquote two-state solution was proposed, There was never an intention for a two-state solution. There was an intention to align themselves with the white Christian nationalists so that everybody's agenda on each side, they think that they can usher in when both agendas mean wiping out the other ally that they've aligned themselves with, and it's all just crazy religious nonsense.
They have to wipe out everybody else before they wipe each other out. And I'm going to let Ed talk. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Israel's been playing the long game. I mean, ever since even before 1947. I mean, with basically their own special version of propaganda, which is called Hasbara. So basically, they would, they have things that they keep private for themselves. There's like the real story of what the Greater Israel Project, for example, where they basically want to acquire every country that's surrounding them until they can't get any more countries. And they've been wanting to do that since forever, but they can't tell that to the rest of the world because the rest of the world will go, hey, this sounds a little bit too much like Nazi Germany. They're like, oh, well, you can't call it that because that's anti-Semitic. And then it all goes down some rabbit hole, which they've already planned to use. They're using Judaism as a cape, as a shroud to cover up what they really want to do. So
and to that point, Dad, they have squandered the goodwill of the world for people that have always been aligned and supportive of Jewish people. I mean, we know the Holocaust happened. We know there was a horrible thing that happened. All of the goodwill that Jewish people had and deserved and earned because of what happened. Now, unfortunately, people are looking to what Zionists and Mossad and Netanyahu have done. And unfortunately, it does spark anti-Semitism in a lot of circles, which it shouldn't do when you focus on the
but
fact
they
that,
want that, though.
I know that.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Exactly. Right, to shut everyone down.
Yeah,
so,
make sure that they can point to anti-Semitism and evil and all of the ways in which they're in danger, so that it can continue to like this war of like defense or whatever they're claiming it is. Like,
like I said, Netanyahu's been playing the long game too. He, ever since he's been an adult, he's been trained and has been pushing the whole narrative of the Greater Israel Project of Iran is too dangerous. We got to get rid of them because they got nukes. But never mind that we already have nukes.
Right.
It's like they've never. The countries have never held Israel accountable for nuclear arms control at all. Kennedy tried it. We saw what happened to him.
Now we're starting to wonder how.
What happened to Kennedy? No, just kidding.
Well, first it was the CIA, then it was the deep state. It's like, oh, actually, Israel may have been a part of it. There are a lot of.
And then it turns out, they're all working together. Yeah, okay.
Right.
But anyway, so then we get, we finally get to where, I call him Orange Whippler, also known as Trump, because we basically have two versions of Adolf Hitler. We probably have more than two, but the two main ones in this world right now are the fat orange one called Trump, and I call him Orange Whippler, because Orange Whip, and then the other one is Beadolf Zittler, because he's not an Adolf. He's more of a B. And then so Beadolf Zittler is like the worst. And but Beadolf has been waiting for Trump to be, he's been waiting for the dumbest president, the dumbest, most selfish, dim-witted president to get into office so he could talk that moron into going into Iran. And so what does he do? What's that moron do? He goes on TV and he does this.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Pretty much.
The crowds ate it up. America loved it. Like, he still had a rock, like, solid 35% approval. Like, I think he'll find his cannon fodder.
But here's the other thing about Trump.
Footing, right, Jose? Like, people will love
I've been making this prediction also, is that I think Trump knows that his health isn't the best. He knows that he's He's
Do you
probably
think
going
he
to die
knows
soon.
that, Ed? I think
He's
he's
been
completely
conserving his
about it.
heartbeats.
Well,
Ed. He's
okay.
been
I'm gonna
conserving his heartbeats.
I'm gonna take a slight detour off of what I was about to say, just to let you know that the social media has been going crazy about these photos of Trump with these really nasty red patches on the back of his neck, and they think what he's doing is he's treating years and years of bad skin cancer. Dude goes golfing all the time. Okay, he's out in the sun forever. He's taking this medication that basically it's a topical anti-cancer medication that basically starves the skin cancer until it kind of gets red and dries out and then flakes off. He's hoping that's going to work for him in the meantime, but he doesn't. I don't think he's very long for this world, and I think he just wants to be.
Evil never dies, bro.
He just wants to be the last American president. And my thinking is his
Interesting.
Everybody knows that who the first president of America was, George Washington, and everybody's gonna know who the last American president was, because I'm gonna blow up the damn country and I'm gonna be the last American president, and I can take credit for that, and my name would live forever.
I've got the biggest.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not really outside.
And this mindset, he's basically everything he does, he's treating like a game.
Well,
everything is
it's
just
all about
let's
him,
see if
to
I
your
can
point,
win this
Ed.
thing.
It's the end of days games for him. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, all really Trump cares about, because he couldn't give a shit less about Zionism and whether or not Israel has a state. Trump doesn't give a shit about that.
No, he doesn't care.
No,
he's a malignant narcissist. It's all about how the focus is on him and what he's doing. Everything he says, just believe the opposite. Every time you hear him do a press conference, every time he talks about where the economy's great, the economy's in the tank. We're winning this war. No, we're not. We didn't just have 3 casualties over the weekend. They wiped out
6? We had 6 casualties.
Only 6.
Only
more.
6. It's a lot more. It's a lot more.
Yeah,
American casualties. I'm not talking about Iranian citizens and that sort of thing. That, of course, again, they couldn't give a shit less about.
Yeah, probably.
The other thing, the other thing that if you're watching this, that you need to realize, and I know a lot of you may not realize, is that Zionists control a good portion of the corporate media and of a lot of your local media as well, as far as providing information to you. Israel has not been letting any press, or hardly any press, into Israel. In fact, they've been actively killing them for the last couple years. More than 200 journalists are dead because of Israel. And because of what they don't want people to see what's happening in Gaza, and currently because they don't want to see that Tel Aviv is probably a giant crater right now.
Have you guys been monitoring X for news? Because now Elon Musk, X has been censoring any video that comes out of Israel. I mean, there are some people that are sneaking some stuff through, but then you've also got the problem of, is this a real video or is this AI? The whole has made it impossible to know what's actually authentic, as we're disseminating the news cycle. Okay, I
might be asking kind of a dumb question here, but I'm just really curious, right? So I know that they've been concealing the damage done to Tel Aviv. And part of me wonders, right, because they really utilized the October 7th attack to their advantage and saying, see, these people are savages and terrorists, and now we need to go protect ourselves by annihilating every man, woman, and child over in Gaza. They really use that to their advantage. So my curiosity, I guess what piqued for me, and this might be a dumb question, but at the risk of sounding dumb, I'm going to ask it anyway, is why wouldn't they be more open about the attacks on Tel Aviv? Because wouldn't that give them fodder for a further broader war? Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because Netanyahu is as much of a malignant narcissist as Trump is.
Really? You think is that why?
Well, and he doesn't want anybody to see how his country is fucking failing right now. Because to your point, it would make sense to show all that. but and blame Hamas or whoever else. But no. He cannot. He will not. He would not acknowledge what a pounding that they're taking, because it would show how stupid this conflict was to even begin. Because his end game is not just taking Iran. They want to take Saudi Arabia. They want to take everything to the Euphrates.
Yeah.
So they don't want to show, Kira. I think in Netanyahu's mind, to share those videos out of Tel Aviv would be to show their weakness, to show that they really aren't, that they are a failure. They were a failure. They're propping up our failure of a president to do their will and drag us all into what obviously we're all fearing could conflate into a larger global conflict, depending on when Russia or China get involved. I mean, it's sparking things everywhere. And I think it's hilarious. Not hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious in the sense you have to laugh at the absurdity of it. As much as I am not a fan of Tucker Carlson on a personal level, I think he's just a tool. He does good interviews. And when he got Mike Huckabee to say the silent part out loud,
that's a good interview.
What you want to see Israel take over however, I'm paraphrasing, take over the entire Middle East, and Huckabee acknowledging, well, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad thing. It's like all of our Middle Eastern allies are like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
That is, the U.S. is completely willing to let Israel do whatever they want. They're willing to sacrifice Saudi Arabia. They're willing to sacrifice every one of these other Middle Eastern countries because Netanyahu's got Trump by the balls.
And they're willing to sacrifice their own soldiers, right? They put our own soldiers in harm's way so that we can justify going to war, right? Because once
in Huckabee's case, he wants to bring about the end of the
rapture.
world.
Because he's a pastor. He's a religious guy. What is he? Not a pastor. Is he a reverend or a priest or something? He's got his own ministry. Huckabee did.
Yeah, I know. He's a douchebag. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so he basically, I mean, the reason that he got given this plum assignment as ambassador to Israel was because there was, the white Christian nationalist agenda through Huckabee to be placed there to facilitate the rapture.
Yeah,
to facilitate what's going on here. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. So yeah, I do think the fact that Trump finally did without congressional approval launch the attack is because they've got he wants to hide what everybody knows is going on and could be revealed in the Epstein files. For so long he's managed to not get involved in Iran, but I think with the last Epstein file drop and the way that they've already done the damage, we knew Clinton was involved, but that was just a little, hey, you're next, dude. If we can start to expose Clinton and drag him into these congressional hearings with the other files that they dropped a couple weeks ago, it's been like this slow drip. I think that he finally realized, I just got to do Israel's bidding. I did a chat with AI. I didn't think to bring it on the show here with ChatGPT, but I was asking, so can you kind of speculate on what a conversation would be between Israel and the president, as far as letting him know that if he doesn't do their bidding, they've got this blackmail on him. And I said, I don't want you to create a script like it's in a movie. How would diplomats allude to each other what's happening? And it printed, this is basically what they would say without saying it. And I'll maybe bring that on a future show, but it's incredible how much AI can give you. You have to, it's a tool. You got to give it specific information and say, I don't want you to blow smoke up my ass. I want an objective analysis of what I'm asking you. And its initial response was, well, it didn't want to give me the what you'd see in a Hollywood movie. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want you to tell me, how would they phrase this to insinuate what's going to happen without saying the quiet part out loud.
Right.
In this instance, to get Trump to realize, okay, he's got no more options left.
One of the other things I really wanted to bring up tonight in regards to all of this, because it's really timely, is this, also mostly because I just need information because I don't have time to read the news anymore. So I'm just really curious. So what do? I come on a show and start asking questions. This War Powers Act situation that got voted down today somehow by people who love power but are okay with giving it up. Does anybody want to fill me in on that shit?
Oh, that was the second attempt. Actually, I believe it was the House of was it the Senate made the first attempt, and then the House, and then that failed, and then the House of Representatives made an attempt, and that I was like, the problem is the same thing that it's always been, is there's too many people who are beholden to AIPAC.
Yeah,
that's exactly
they are absolutely corrupt in Congress. I would say 98% of Congress is guilty of treason, and I'm not saying that lightly. They are. They are committing treason on the daily by supporting a foreign nation's interests instead of our own.
I mean, is it not our own? The FBI.
Yeah,
FBI covered up all the
people. Right. You think all the people coming out today going, why aren't you America first, is a coincidence? It isn't. It's it's not just MAGA. It's a larger percentage of Americans who are saying we've had enough with this Israel bullshit. And we need to start taking care of our own. Now, some people,
the Israel bullshit's part of the reason they voted Trump in. In my estimation of things, is they saw how corrupted everything is, and they said, well, this guy's a loose cannon, right? He none of his investors can trust him, so let's bring this guy in. But I think beyond money, they got something else on Trump.
No, I think 4chan always knew about these Epstein things. Back in 2011, when Trump was doing the birtherism and his first presidential run, people knew about the Epstein Island and Lolita Air Force, and the idea was that Trump was going to reveal it all, how Hollywood was complicit, and the FBI was complicit, and the CIA director was complicit, and the NSA was complicit, and all these Congress people were complicit, and he was going to drain the swamp and reveal it all. And the truth is, they are all complicit. The FBI covered up all of those Epstein crimes. They covered up all of those girls' murders and all those crimes
for every president.
They got promoted. They got promoted, and they benefited. That the FBI has been so compromised by different organized crime factions that they are Amalek. And if Mossad makes that case to the world, the CIA and the FBI are Amalek. They're corrupted by organized crime, and we should purge them. I mean, do they have a track record of that succeeding? That's our complicity. That's how compromised we are to these foreign intelligence agencies.
Everyone out there should also understand that when Israel calls someone Amalek, it's basically they're just saying, oh, they're people I don't like. And they do that inside their own media bubble. They call certain countries or certain politicians or something Amalek, while they feed a completely different narrative to Western media. So I mean, just recently, they're talking about, oh yeah, we want to make peace and be friends with Iran when all of this is over. Meanwhile, on Israeli media, they're saying, oh no, they're Amalek and all must be destroyed.
Right.
Well, consider this too, Ed. Ironically, when we look back at how long Jeffrey Epstein has been functioning before his unaliving, are we worried about words on YouTube now? Before his unaliving,
unaliving works, yeah.
For every FBI and every administration knew what was going on and covered it up. The Department of Justice. So if you go all the way back to when Epstein was operating and known in circles, you realize this didn't just all start or hit the fan when Trump ran the first time, to Jose's point about promising he was going to drain the swamp and expose all this stuff. AIPAC has infiltrated our government, consider before Epstein started collecting intelligence from Mossad, before he got the funding for his property in New York or the island, the Epstein Island. This has been going on for decades and decades and decades. So when you literally have to recognize and acknowledge the fact, whether it was AIPAC or Mossad or the Israelis, they compromised our country decades ago, pre 9/11. Probably as far back as the 80s, the 70s. I would go so far as to say, after Kennedy was assassinated, because Israel wanted to develop their nuclear capabilities. And now we wonder, well, what hand did Israel possibly have in everybody's agenda to take out JFK, who wanted to not only splinter the CIA, but here, consider this also. Where did the CIA come from? CIA was originally the OSS, the Office of Strategic OSS. They functioned they were our spy organization in World War II. World War II ends. What are you going to do with the OSS? Because they had a lot of power during World War II. Well, let's transition them into being the CIA. We're going to give them all this power, but it's going to be about national surveillance, not global surveillance, as they operated during World War II. But the CIA, it's like, well, no, we're still going to have that global surveillance power as well as domestic surveillance power. We're not going to let that be revealed. So you've got the factions in OSS during World War II transitioning into being the CIA, serving the global interests of those that were operating within OSS. And shortly after World War II, we had the establishment of the country of Israel, which was a great idea. Have a place for displaced Jews after World War II, after the Holocaust. But what people didn't realize was that there was a larger agenda there that wasn't just about giving
but not on somebody else's land.
Exactly. Well, of course.
That was the problem.
That was problem number one. I saw this great map that showed if you took the space of Israel and you put it in the United States, it would take up like a small parcel of land, like in the western part of the United States. We could have given Israel their own country in the United States, since we're a pro-Jewish country. But it had to be with the Holy Land. All had to assimilate with all this crazy religious prophecies and the end times and everything. It was all about religious fervor that would enable them to. So I'm always wondering to myself, so is Revelation actually happening, or are bad agents using Revelation or the biblical prophecies to advance their own agendas? I would say it's the latter.
I would say it's the latter. I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, I have a certain bias because maybe just a worldview where I'm just like, grown-ups don't really believe in this shit. It's just super duper make-believe. We've gone through thousands and thousands of years of iterations of deities. Right? Are we really still fucking talking about this
fairy tales?
Shit?
Yeah, we're using fairy tales.
Are we really still talking about this shit? And then and I'm not dogging people who are spiritual or religious. I'm incredibly spiritual, but my spirituality does not tell me I need to kill people in order for me to maintain my spirituality.
That's the difference, Kira, between people who actually are in touch with their spirituality and what is good, as opposed to religions that divide people to conquer people for their own power and their own agendas. That's why I dropped out of I was raised Greek Orthodox. I'm now agnostic. It doesn't mean I don't believe there's something, but my belief has to do with what you say, Kira, being spiritual and recognizing there's more in common amongst all of us, of all cultures and all religions, than there are divisions that religions push to maintain their power. Whether it's the extreme factions of Islam, whether it's the extreme factions of Zionism that have hijacked Judaism to push forward their agenda. That's just all crazy shit.
Religion's supposed to make you do good things, not evil things, but people make religion do evil things because they're fucking evil. That's all.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to me. And just to be responsible for time, y'all, I'm gonna pop off here in 3 minutes so that I can spend a solid 45 minutes with my husband, and then get to bed.
We were just gonna do an hour show. Let me get to our last topic too before Kira pops out, just really quickly. I don't know, as it relates to the war, you guys have seen this, right? Anthropic. Have you seen what happened with Anthropic? And
what's his name? OpenAI guy was quick to be like, "I'll kill everybody. No worries."
Oh, was he really? Because I know that what there was one company that was like, "Nope, not doing that."
Yeah.
Really
briefly, the Department of Defense had a contract with Anthropic that wants to use its artificial intelligence for all of its strategic decisions in a war. And unfortunately, Anthropic's AI and a lot of AI are going straight to nuclear option solutions.
Oh God.
Before actually gaming things out logically, which leads me to Again, I have another little segment here. Hopefully we won't have too much of a delay, but have you guys seen this movie before? Come on, load up.
Yeah.
Because literally, this is what's coming. This is what's coming as soon as it loads up. Here we go.
Of military computer systems. All stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, they fly with a perfect operational record.
Yep.
The Skynet funding is passed. The system goes online on
really the Reagan year.
1997.
Jimmy Carter.
Human decisions are removed from strategic defense.
Reagan.
Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Skynet fights back.
Yes, it launches its missiles against the targets in Russia, because Skynet knows that the Russian counterattack will eliminate its enemies over here.
Jesus.
So yeah, I would say stop looking at the Bible and look at like all of these directors from Hollywood in the 1980s.
Right.
It should be a requirement for anyone in the military to watch all of these apocalyptic movies and learn the correct lessons from them.
Yeah.
Here's what we're looking at right now. Y'all, how many of you saw Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Hollywood.
Basically, Captain America: The Winter Soldier with Hydra and the helicarriers that we're going to start targeting anybody that the government considered a radical. So right now, what we're looking at, take Captain America.
Israel's doing that already, by the way.
Right. Take Hydra, take Cyberdyne Systems and OCP, put them in a blender, and that's the reality we're about to like step into as a result of like.
Where's RoboCop? Save us.
Yeah, right. We need a RoboCop.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, it's all coming together. And thankfully, though, we have candidates coming onto the program into the next week. And from what I've researched ahead of time, and I'm hoping, everybody's grateful for this. A lot of they're all anti-APAC. They're all anti-war in the Middle East. They are all going to be asked questions about that also. So let me really quickly give you all a quick rundown on who we're going to be talking to over the next week. And if we have more candidates join us, we will. Let me see if I can open up this screen, how it'll show. First interview is going to be tomorrow morning. Akira and I will be interviewing Anthony Driver Jr. Here's our schedule coming up. So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Anthony Driver Jr. Tomorrow evening, Jose and I will be interviewing Keena Collins. Monday, we're going to have Bushra Amawala, and that'll be me and Kira. And Monday night, we will have Han Win, and that'll be Jose and I. And after that, continuing into next week, remove that. The next tier of candidates we'll be interviewing after that will be continuing on Tuesday. And that will be, we'll have 2 Senate candidates on. Jonathan Dean will be next Tuesday. Kevin Ryan will be next Wednesday. And then we have a Republican candidate coming on for Congress, Paul Friedman. And then the following Monday, we're going to have Justin Ford. So Kira and Jose and I are going to be, thankfully, Kira and Jose, thank you, because I can't do these things by myself. We're kind of tag teaming on having multiple hosts, 2 hosts at a time, going through our interviews with the candidates. We want to invite everybody to please tune in and participate. We're going to try and field as many questions in the live chat so that this really is an interactive forum between our viewers as well as the candidates, supplementing the questions that Kira, Jose, and I will be asking them. Before we bring the show to a close tonight, really quickly, anything that Ed, Kira, or Jose would like to add? We're going to be doing more also beyond these congressional or primary race interviews. We're just kind of getting our steam back.
We're just coming back.
I don't know how often. So I'm hoping, depending on everybody's commitments or ability to, maybe we'll be able to return to a once a week program after we get out of these interviews with the candidates going into primary day on March 18th. But what say the rest of you?
Yeah, we got to be supporting independent media right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we really do. And doing what we can to, you know, make this hellscape not as hellish. So
Yeah.
Just it's, as Uncle Warren over on Extra Bullet says, use your critical thinking skills when you're watching any kind of media. Always ask yourself, you know, who's reporting this story that I'm hearing. Who gains from me
and what
knowing
do they
this
stand to
information?
gain? Yep.
And you know, and follow the money and all of that stuff. So, you know, keep your minds wide open because there's so much shenanigans going on right now, especially in corporate media.
Yes.
All right, and there you have it. So everybody in the live chat, we expect you all to tune in tomorrow morning at bright and early at 9 a.m. when Kira and I will be welcoming Anthony Driver Jr. in our first of a series of interviews with the candidates. Hey, gang, I know it was tough. I know everybody's juggling a lot with their schedules, but thank you so much for making time tonight so we can let people know we're still around, we're coming back, and we're really excited about future plans and future programming with the channel that we're putting together. And just thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We were sad to be away for circumstances out of our control, but we're excited to be back and plan on doing more as we go into the next, not just primary season here in Illinois, but we've got a mayoral election coming up in Chicago. We've also got
we have municipals. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we really want to encourage everybody to understand this channel is not just about the four of us coming on and talking. We want to align ourselves with as many activist organizations in Chicago. Use Chicago Corner as your platform. Use it as your megaphone. Reach out to us. Oh my God, and I forgot to bring this up also tonight before we adjourn because I just created this little graphic. Everybody who likes the show, please like the video, subscribe and get notified. Share our show so we can get more viewers coming on.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that the Bring Chicago Home ordinance didn't pass during Mayor Earl Johnson's tenure. But I think that he really is being defined right now because he led the vote for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Yes.
So community groups.
Protective during the migrant crisis here. Look, the migrant crisis, we could spend a whole show on that, but I mean, we're going to be asking candidates, great. So, you know, obviously we need to abolish ICE, but like we also need to consider what are realistic reforms to make the path to citizenship easier.
I just wanted to make
throwing people out, but reform it to make it easier so that we can have legal immigration and you know, be able to like weed out threats and welcome people that want to be citizens and contribute and like be an important part of our society and become Americans like we all are.
We would love to uplift the stories of like community activists that were patrolling against ICE and the community groups that put together.
Oh yeah, the rapid responders and stuff. Yeah, we want to hear those stories and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right, everybody.
Palestine.
And then Kathy's wondering, did it pay $50? I don't know. I
know
we got her we got her $5.
No, Kathy, just $5 is fine, honey. We're fine. We're hopefully we'll get more donations from people who's $5, and $5 is more than enough. Kathy's one of our regular Patreon subscribers. So you're already giving us $5 a month, dear, and we appreciate it. So, but if anybody else wants to, you can certainly join our Patreon for $5 a month to help support us. And one last thing, the reason we decided to be innovative with the candidates.
Kathy, to answer your question, yes, I got my whistle.
I forgot to, oh my God, I had this all queued up. Yeah, this is why we're doing the interview with the candidate series, because I'm tired of getting these in the mail every other day. We want to hear from people in person.
Yeah, we sure do. We want to ask them the questions. So
all of those people that are sending me postcards, they're not showing up for the show this week, and that's fine. I think they've got a lot of money to share their messages in the mail.
That's right.
But here on Chicago Corner, you're going to get to talk to the candidates that do step forward, that aren't showing up with postcards in your mailbox, to speak with them directly and ask your questions. So,
and if you're seeing postcards on the door and not in your mail, that means a volunteer or a canvasser came by and put it there, just so you know. So that might show up a little different for some folks that a volunteer came by on their own time and decided to flyer your door. So
yeah, I've got no problem with the postcards. It's just when I see the postcards, it's like, hey, let's talk direct if you're not home. And Chicago Corner is the platform for that, as well as other activist activities in the city, organizations. Reach out to us, join us, and we look forward to aligning ourselves with you. Or partnering.
As long as they're using local printers to get these things printed, I'm okay with it, supporting the local economy.
That's
yeah,
right.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. And to the rest of our viewers, please show up tomorrow when we're going to be interviewing Anthony Driver Jr. at 9 a.m. Thanks for returning to join us on Chicago Corner. As always, when we close our programs, make sure to watch out for each other, take care of each other, be vigilant, and remember, if it's happening on the streets, you'll hear about it here on Chicago Corner. Hit that like and subscribe button. Share our channel, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thanks, everybody.
Fuck this noise, man.
Get out, and don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. If you would like to be a guest on Chicago Corner, please email our host, Jerry, at chicagocorner.tv.